Bramborough back with Grand Tactician Civil War, unit campaign on Very Hard and Elevated. No tactical map battles this episode, although one does loom quite soon. What does happen? Large shipments of quality weapons are finally delivered, which enables Henry Halleck to properly arm thousands of troops who have been training in the rear area for weeks. These eager recruits are headed to the front. Meanwhile, naval and amphibious forces step up their efforts on rebel coastal forts, while the Army of the Mississippi capitalizes on its recent victory on the banks of that river. Quite a lot going on in this episode. Let's hop in. Right. I'm going to lead off this episode with some Army organization stuff. There's going to be a little bit of clicking going on here for a while. I'll chapter it for people who want to skip that, but I know a lot of people like that stuff, so I'm going to report it. It's going to be in the episode. I don't think it'll take all that long. But bottom line is, here's our Army HQ, and this covers both the West and East departments, and there's almost 60,000 men in the departments and rear areas. We have a total of 265 in the military, which is about 40,000 more than the Confederates have. However, 60,000 of them are back in the departments. So on the front lines and the operational forces, we've got less. Now they've got some kind of in rear areas as well. The AI doesn't do these recruiting commands the way a lot of players do. But, they've got this army down here looking at Fort Pickens. This army of Florida, I think it is. They got 13,000 dudes kind of pulling their heels down here. So in any case, I need to get these 60,000 men into operational units. And the reason I haven't done so before now, as I've mentioned before, is because they all were equipped with mixed muskets. Well, we got this big load of Springfield rifle muskets just arrived. We got some more, not huge batches, but we got some more rifled artillery in. And so I've got these guys able to go out with decent weapons. And then the question is then what to do with them. By and large, the two options being there's enough guys back there, I could form more corps to cover more area, or I can kind of dole them out to the existing forces to make each one of our, or most of our existing corps a little stronger. And it's kind of a, either way is valid. I've decided to go with option B. I am, with one kind of exception, I am going to mostly dole these guys out to the existing corps. And because we got 4 corps here in the Army of the Potomac. That's enough. I don't know that a 5th corps is value added. And to be honest, if I create a new corps, I'm kind of running out of quality officers to put in corps and divisional level command without further diluting the quality of leadership down at the brigade level in existing units. So that's one reason. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do, mostly. Here in the Army of the Potomac, which is currently involved in a siege battle, so I need to go up here to, if I can find the Army of the Potomac. Here we are. So what I've been doing is I've got I've got units on furlough, and I didn't want to go more than 2 brigades in a corps at any given time on furlough. So even though these are 9 brigade units, recently they've been kind of functioning more as 7 brigade. So my thought is, for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Corps, I'm going to give each one of these another brigade, just so that they can keep rotating units on furlough. You know, one comes back and then they send their smallest brigade back on furlough. And that takes a while. If I give each corps rather, an extra brigade, then essentially they're all functioning as 8 brigade corps at any given time. And then 10th Corps is a little smaller, right? This is only 7 brigades as it is. This one over here is kind of split out because I spec'd him as engineer, which I'm gonna do with the new brigades in the other corps as well. But he's only got 6 corps as it is. This is only a 7 corps. So I'm going to give Hancock probably 3 brigades, bring him up kind of to the same strength as the other corps in the Army of the Potomac. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Buell's East Department, so they're going to come out of this pool here. And I'm going to give a brigade to McDowell. Brigade to Thomas. George Gordon Meade, commanding Kentucky troops. I feel like Kentucky's state support has kind of been staying high enough. And there's a lot of recruits in Kentucky, so I've recruited a few Kentucky brigades. Emory Upton, commanding some Maine troops here. I'm going to send him to 3rd Corps under Erasmus Keyes. I'm going to go ahead and give Hancock's, I'm going to give him another brigade per division. David Birney here, commanding some Pennsylvania troops. Apropos. Shouldn't take all these troops too long to get from Harrisburg down to the Army. Yeah, 4 days, 4 days, 4 days. Yeah, that's fine. Now, that leaves me 3 brigades in the east. What I'm going to do with these guys, when I said it's plussing up a command, but I'm kind of creating a new command here. This is the old Hatteras expedition under Banks. However, in the course of making his try on Fort Hatteras, Banks picked up a couple of nice siege perks. So this kind of became, and that's valuable. I didn't want to lose that. So I'm renaming this the 12th Corps, and I'm going to give Banks enough forces where he can go conduct a proper siege, fort siege. And so he's going to get these remaining 3 brigades here. Here's Robert Gould Shaw. Those familiar with the movie Glory may be familiar with him. Commanding Massachusetts troops, as he has to because he's a Massachusetts volunteer. Pretty good, though. You know, they gave him some nice attributes there. And it's just taking them 3 days because Banks is cooling his heels over at Dover, Delaware at the moment. And unlike before, I believe Banks is going to need some artillery if he's going to go fort busting. So we've got some rifled artillery that I'm going to give him. We give him 3 battalions. Now, worth noting, I recruited all these at full size. So this guy is still full size with 16 guns. These 2 units have seen some attrition. Even sitting back in the rear areas with chains of command that have been chosen for administration ability, attrition's a thing. Sickness and desertion. Mostly sickness, I think. Whenever I hover over an army, I'll show it in a minute. And it shows you who's sick, and it also shows you, desertions and MIAs. That number is usually quite low, unless the morale of the army gets real bad. But most of the time, the desertion is quite low. Okay. So I've mostly used up all the infantry I had available in the east. This particular clump, this is actually like a viewer division. We've got John Buford in command of a division made up of Devon, Gamble, and Merritt as requested. And they're still sitting in the rear because they've got mixed cav weapons. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this John. I haven't renamed this cav unit either. Okay. Do want to give this some divisional structure. These aren't going to be very good. Let's see who we got here. Dudley, 1st Division. Yeah, could be worse. At least he's an infantry guy. Joseph Reynolds. Probably not terrible. Although I may swap him with Granger. Yeah, we'll let Reynolds be the arty commander. So we'll get 2 infantry under Dudley, 2 infantry under Granger. We'll put the artillery under Reynolds. The fact that the arty's in the middle and not over to the right kind of pains my OCD a little bit. Not too much, though. So this is going to be the 2nd Division. And Reynolds is going to have arty division. Okay. And these guys will all be here in 3 days, and then we'll have 12th Corps ready to go back down the coast and besiege whatever fort we need them to. There's quite a few down here. Kind of hoping that the Navy can capture some of these on their own. But there's a fort at there's a fort here, Fort Macon. There's a couple forts here at Wilmington, and there's a lot more down the coast. So I believe that we will find things for 12th Corps to do. There's also a fort just inland from Morehead City as well. So we may send 12th Corps down to cut their teeth on this one because it's a tier 1. That'll clear their first combat and give them some experience, get that 3rd perk slot working for Banks, that sort of thing. I think that's what I'm going to do. Speaking of Fort Macon, and no, I'm leaving that. That's because that'll be in the theaters. Now, in the West, doing basically the same thing. I think Cadwallader needs another couple brigades in this corps. Probably another brigade to each of the corps in the Army of the Mississippi now that they're doing some fighting, not just sieging. And then same idea in this main army so that we can rotate guys through on furlough in the Army of the Tennessee. And then if I have a brigade left, we just need armies here. And then if I have a brigade left over, probably send another one out to Missouri. Okay, Army of the Tennessee. Okay, we'll send an extra brigade to Hooker. Extra brigade to Sherman. Only got 4 brigades in Army of the Kanawha. So we'll send 2 brigades to Hurlbut's, I think this is the 9th Corps or the 8th Corps? 9th Corps. I'm just sending the brigades right now. I'll go back and do the divisions. And let's give them another battalion of artillery as well. Army, okay, let's find the Army of the Mississippi. And let's give some extra brigades. Let's give an extra brigade apiece to Stevens and Curtis. None of these corps have any smoothbore artillery either. Let's go ahead and give them some of that as well. That'll make this the 53rd Colorado. I don't think I have any smooth bores. I know we've got a... No, didn't we just get a whole bunch of 24-pound howitzers? I don't know what happens if I upgrade while in the transfer screen. Let's just back out of that for a second. Oh, still 9 days. I'm going to go ahead and give them 12-pounders for now because me being me, I may forget about them. And I'd rather have them when I forget and they fight a battle or two before I get them their howitzers. I'd rather they have 12-pounders than 6-pounder field guns. Do I have any? No. Yeah, I don't have anything else. This is intended to be a completely temporary arrangement. Because 12-pound howitzers aren't good. But they're better than the 6-pounder field guns. So hopefully I remember those. There's a few rifled battalions ready to go here. Okay, so what we're doing, we're going to get, Army of the Mississippi. We're going to send them a smoothbore battalion apiece, the 53rd. We'll just put it in the Artie division. It's just an extra battalion. And this will be the 54 battalion. Michigan. That's the wrong corps. We need that going to Curtis. Okay, so we've got a couple extra infantry brigades ready to go. Send one out to Missouri. Just put him in McCall's division, I guess. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and let's send this last one. This will make Hurlbut's Corps a 7 brigade corps. We'll do that. He could use some smoothbores as well. I'll tell you what, 52 bat, I'm going to drop you back to smoothbore. Okay. And that pretty much cleans out the forces we had back in the HQ. There's still a couple of artillery battalions hanging around. We've got one brigade being recruited. West Virginia troops in the east. Oh, and this is actually a viewer unit. Got a request recently for a Swedish brigade of Minnesota troops. So here they are. They're being recruited. They're going to be available in 27 days. They are rifle armed. And I put them under, looked for Minnesota officers to find a commander. And we've got Colonel Horatio Van Cleve. He is not terrible. He is a West Pointer. He is an infantry officer. And these stats will come up over time. Does have some decent administration, and he's got a little bit of fame. And that's because he was a lieutenant, and I promoted him to colonel to take command of this brigade. But he did not lose. I promoted him from lieutenant. Well, I didn't promote him. I just put him in command of the brigade as a lieutenant. So that made him a colonel, and he actually didn't lose any attributes here, right? He was not in, so he's the same stars, didn't lose anything except gained fame from being put in command of this brigade. And then this division is going to go to the 1st Cavalry Corps in the east as soon as I have something better than mixed cav weapons. And there you go, a little bit of Army reorganization. Right, so the Army reorganization, it's not really reorganization as much as just sending a bunch of troops out. That's done. We got a bunch of infantry and artillery units headed out to the armies. So this is pretty interesting. Y'all saw, before I did that, had 265,000-ish fielded manpower. Now down to 220,000. I haven't even advanced time. So there's an indicator that units in transfer are not counted toward this number, which kind of makes sense, right? They're not available for use, but that is a confirmation for me that basically any unit that is grayed out in the military screen, right, for whatever reason, they're being recruited, haven't arrived yet, they're in transfer, they're on furlough. Those numbers don't count toward this total. Which I don't think is a surprise, right? I've always thought that about the recruited units. I just had never put two and two together that, oh, that applies to the transfer units as well. So there you go. We had 265. Now we got 222. So over 40,000 troops in transfer to the front lines. Okay. Theaters. Coastal Theater. We still got, I think this is 11th Corps. It's going to head up here to besiege Tampa. I don't know what the name of this fort is. Fort Brooke. We've got not exactly newly formed, but the newly redesignated 12th Corps is at Dover, Delaware. This is the old Hatteras expedition. He's got a few brigades and some artillery coming to him that should be there in just a couple of days. They're only coming from Harrisburg. And then this force will be ready to come on down the coast back to North Carolina. Maybe we'll have to besiege Fort Macon. If not, then the plan is he will besiege Fort Thompson. So that he's plan B for Fort Macon. Plan A for Fort Macon is let's get the battle squadron to come down, bombard this place, and see if the Navy can capture it on their own. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. As seen in the last episode, I swapped out some of our lower condition frigates for some higher ones that were close to 100%. All the frigates in the battle squadron should be above 90. Yes. And St. Lawrence will catch up. Still have this siege battle going on in Northern Virginia, which my instinct is to convert this to a tactical battle. Haven't done it yet. All the various corps in these three armies are getting basically an extra brigade, or in some cases 2 brigades apiece. A few more going to the Army of the Kanawha. A brigade apiece going to the Corps in the Army of Tennessee. Army of the Tennessee. And these 2 corps getting a few extra as well. And Hooker should be under orders to come up here. Yeah, he still has his movement to push up on the Army of West Tennessee and make them retreat. This battle, the Battle of the Mississippi from the last episode, still technically in progress. So these 2 armies, 3 armies, there's 3 armies in here, Confederate armies, should be retreating soon, probably just to Jackson. And we still have the siege of Fort Smith going on here in Arkansas, which is probably not going to go in our favor. We're on our way back to Carrollton soon, is what I think is going to happen here. I think that about covers it. Let's focus on see which way the Army of West Tennessee retreats. All right, it's roll time. We got the Army of the Oconee coming close to Fremont's Cav Corps. We've already burned down this supply depot here. What are the there's almost no way this happens. What are the chances that the Cav Corps could get over here and burn this Jackson Depot down before these armies get to there? I think somewhere between 0 and 0. But I don't need them to stay here at the moment with an army coming toward them anyway. So let's move them up that way. In fact, you can even take the train if you like, just to go faster. I just don't want him to go into retreat mode from contact. Yeah, he made it out of there. No supply depot there for you. Although he's probably about to flip that IIP. Well, keep going. Oop, there's another weapon project that just completed. What is this? 25,000 Enfield Musketoons. And we didn't get a separate report. However, the 50,000 Enfield No, that may not be true. No, the 25,000, well, crap. Rather than me guess at it, let's just look. There's another weapon that was on the same timeline. Okay, so those are Enfield Musketoons, 25,000 of them. We've also got 24,000 Richmond carbines, which I think have been sitting here for a while, and I keep forgetting to give them to somebody. Okay, so the Enfields are still on order, another 11 days for them, which means it should be the Whitworths. Yeah. 25,000 Whitworth rifles. Okay. These need to go out to the troops, and so do our cav weapons. I am not going to do that on camera. I'll be back. Okay, I've got the Whitworth rifles doled out. I had 25,000, so depending on the size of the brigade, that's about 10 to 12 brigades worth of Whitworths, which matched up pretty nicely with each one of our Army Corps now has one brigade with Whitworths in it, and that just about used them up. I did not put Whitworths in like the 11th and 12th Corps since they're intended only for siege, fort sieging. But all the other corps have got a brigade of Whitworths. In addition, the Enfield Musketoons had enough for quite a few more cav brigades, and so I've got all those out there, and all of the cavalry that were in the recruiting commands who were ready to go. They got their Musketoons, and they're on their way out. In the east, I pretty much sent them all to the 1st Cav Corps. So very soon, once those guys arrive, which should just be a couple days, ETA of last transfers, 4 days. And so in 4 days, Morgan's going to have a force of almost 14,000 troopers here. He has 3 brigades at the moment. He's about to have 4 more for a total of 7. And that's going to pretty much transform this 1st Cav Corps from a, run around and scout force to a viable combat formation on its own. Because of that, they haven't been doing a lot of fighting because they're in scout mode, which hugely extends reinforcement times. So they're always showing up late, or not at all, to any battle that the Army of the Potomac gets into. Now that they're this big, I don't want that happening anymore. And I think just because they're cavalry, I think they're still going to have, I think they still have a little bit better intelligence than a normal corps would anyway. So I'm going to take them out of scout mode. And that way they should be showing up on the battlefield more with a lot of cav. I think that'll be fun. Okay. Let's get the clock rolling again. Well, in Army of West Tennessee, kind of saw what I was trying to do there and started moving before I could make contact and force them into retreat mode. which is a little irritating. Okay, so he made good his mistake. Oh, yeah. I had noticed this when the game was frozen, but I forgot about it. We had a battle in the Atlantic. I saw it coming, I just forgot when it came time to record. And what was interesting about this battle was the force that was coming toward the Charleston blockade. Oh no, this is Farragut. That's not the battle I was thinking of. Apparently someone came to contest his... okay. Well, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Pause. Yeah, okay, so there were some little fleets here we didn't see at the port. That's what he engaged. But we need to get these captured ships out of here before he starts bombarding. Their presence probably drag his readiness down a little bit. Okay. So those fleets are taken care of, and I get over here and start bombarding Fort Macon, please. Thank you. What? And then down here at Charleston. Okay, earlier I saw a fleet coming toward the Charleston blockade that had only 4 ships in it, but it had 87 guns. So they weren't just little tramp steamers. I don't know if that battle occurred or not. Doesn't look like it. Or if it did, didn't capture any ships. False alarm. Never mind. How is this blockade doing? How you doing? See if I can... 35%. And this is a fairly large blockade fleet. Well, it really isn't all that large. 121 guns. Yeah, he's got some ships in repair or coming to him. He's only got 1, 2, 3, 4 actually on station. Yeah, when they sit stationary for a long time, they rotate ships in and out as needed for repairs. They don't always have the complete, says he has 8 ships. That doesn't always mean he's got 8 ships right now on station. Okay. I don't really want to send Hooker's Corps all the way across the Appalachians, further chasing that army. I think what I'm going to do... Cadwalader needs to finish his fort, finish his depot. Can I click you? Yeah. He's in a decent supply flow situation, but he needs to replenish stocks. He's got low ammo, low food. It's coming. It's coming to him. But he needs to finish his depot. And then I think maybe I'll ease him back up here. Because I don't think the Army of Tennessee is here anymore. They didn't, they're not capturing. I think this army is headed to Virginia. I don't think he's coming down this way toward Cadwalader, because Knoxville would be out of his way. He wouldn't have come over here. He would have made the turn that come down this way. So, and I still don't think he has come north into Kentucky, because none of this is turned red as he passes by. If he ever turned any of these buildings, like Thomas Riggins or the Iron Mine, if he ever turned them red, they're not red anymore. So Asheville has seen a little bit of damage. That implies that it has recently changed hands and now apparently has changed back. That's a little telltale that the Army of Tennessee has passed through here, but is no longer here. So that further reinforces the idea that this army has continued moving east, possibly towards Charlotte, possibly down this way. If he is, man, he's got to be in a terrible supply situation. Yeah, he might be taking a roundabout route down to Atlanta. I don't know. Okay, so we've broken engagement over here. That battle is no longer going on. Yeah, second Cav Corps. They're not going to be able to get here and burn this depot down. However, McClellan's force, McClellan himself is still up here for some doggone reason. Well, let's just move the Army of the Mississippi down to Memphis. That was the whole point of taking Fort Pillow. So let's get these corps down here. Eleventh Corps has arrived at Tampa and has just started besieging Fort Brooke. See how that's starting out kind of in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it'll get better as he continues the siege and we get a siege perk unlocked. I don't know about that. How's about, let's go see how these boys are doing up. Yeah, that's still not looking too great. At Fort Smith, we've had a couple broken brigades. Several broken brigades. 23rd Brigade's getting nervous. Yeah, this is not going in our favor. But we'll let him continue as long as he can. Trying to get this perk slot open. At least he's getting credit for that. Okay. Now, how about the battle squadron? Have they started besieging Fort Macon? Not yet. Possibly because I need to move time. Why is he going so slow on X5? I did move those ships out, right? Yeah. There he goes. I think maybe he was still in slow speed because of the battle he just fought. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we saw that coming. At Fort Smith. So Lion should be retreating back up to Carrollton, I would think. Well, we actually got 4 ships here, and St. Lawrence is taking a pounding. Reduced the condition some, but I thought he would have more ships here. I don't see the amphibious assault attempts proccing yet. It is predicted to be heavily in Farragut's favor. Oh, there's an amphibious assault attempt, but it's only probability 1.3. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. They are beating down the condition pretty good. And the ships took some initial hits, but seem to be holding steady at their current conditions. But I don't think he's going to take the fort because he's getting really low chances on all of these amphibious attempts. Columbia retreating. Seems like some XP should be building here for this balloon barge. That's an even lower probability to capture. Apparently there's no retreat option. Don't know if we really need one. They will move in bombardment mode. We'll just move slow. Well, he's beaten the condition down. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull him out. I don't want any of those ships to actually sink. They may sink on the way out. And he's retreating. Okay. I think 12th Corps should be ready to go. Green readiness. Do you have all your troops? I believe you do. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to wait till he gets all the way to the top because they're going to start recovering the condition of this fort. So let's sail banks down here as quickly as we can. Have him take that fort, which should also take this fort, which I hope means that he should be okay for supply in order to come up here and besiege Fort Thompson afterward. A little disappointed in the fleet, but that there weren't as many ships in that fleet as I thought there were. Okay, he's on his way. Let's go check and see where Lion retreated to. He should have been Carrollton. Should have been Carrollton. If I can get up to him. Yeah. Oh! Army of Arkansas is chasing him. Boy, he may have to retreat up into Missouri. The readiness is still not terrible. Let's put him in defensive mode. Let's put both of them in defensive mode. Yeah, they're still coming. How many troops are in this army? I need to pause to tell. 7,000. And like we've seen before, well, if he's got brigades in here that are actually broken, they will not start a battle and then improve up to a decent level of morale. As long as they're nervous or unstable, they will. And they'll be fine. But if they start a battle broken, they won't be. They can't go above 30% morale. A given brigade, that is, or battalion. And I am not aware of a way to tell what an individual brigade's morale is on the campaign map. You can't tell here. So what we'll do, we'll just have to let it make contact and get that initial contact screen, and we'll be able to tell that way, and that will determine whether we retreat or not. 7,000 men here. He appears to be unsupported, right? We still have vision on this guy. We still have vision on this. That's the fort, and there's another army building a depot over here. So he's not going to be reinforced. Well, again, we'll be able to tell that in the initial contact report. Don't want to give up Carrollton if I don't have to. Looks like I have to. I'm not getting the option to fight. Line's like, whoop, we're going to back up to Springfield. Okay. Just got some more weapons. I think that's probably the Enfield rifle muskets. No, 24-pound howitzers. Right. Was that in this army? There was an army I put some 12-pound howitzers. Wasn't this one. This is the guy. Let's give you some 24-pounders there. There's another one somewhere else. Nope. Nope. Yeah, Army of the Mississippi. This guy. Let's upgrade there. Smoothbore battalions. Okay, well, so retreating back up into the state of Missouri. Thus far, our Arkansas campaign has not fared well. We're doing fine in the field battles against these Confederate armies in northwest Arkansas, but we're not getting it done to actually take this fort. Gonna have to try something else. And what we can do there is took Fort Pillow, and we've taken, okay, so in the meantime, we've taken Memphis, and we're in a bad supply situation. The port in Memphis is not enough for these two corps. So we're going to have to, so McClellan's going to have to build himself a depot here. There's really no way around that, I don't think. The Mississippi is open, which means the Arkansas is open, which means we can get ships up here. And actually, I think got a few more little scout fleets that were waiting. Let's go ahead and get them down the Mississippi for vision. Let's put one here. One about here. Now, these ships are not going to be able to actually do anything other than they can deny river movement to armies. That's the thing. Eh, dang it. I'm going to have to click him this way. I think that's Scout 18 there. Yeah. We can at least keep... We put a gunboat here. That'll at least help keep vision on what's going on. I don't want him so close to the fort that it actually engages. So let's put him... That should be safe. They won't be able to do anything against them either. But later, remember we unlocked monitors. And they still have a ways to go. Yeah, still 84 days, so we're still several months out. But these are river capable. I could form a squadron of these like at Cairo or Memphis, and then move them up the Arkansas and beat down this fort condition. And then Lion can make another movement down, allow it to fight several battles. But hopefully then, if we can get this fort condition beat down, he can come in there and take it a lot quicker, maybe with an assault. If he's starting with the fort condition a lot lower. I mean, he got the fort condition down to 12, as it is. But that was toward the end, and there was too much force against him if he can start with a fort condition that low. So that's proving to be a tough nut to crack there. Okay. Updated location report on the Army of Tennessee, and they've come all the way down here. They're currently in South Carolina, but that smells like he may be on his way to Atlanta. There's also somebody building a supply depot at Cassville. No indication that the Army of West Tennessee is doing anything to capture... Well, there we go again. Athens has seen some recent damage. That could be from us passing through, though. From having taken Chattanooga. I don't want to send infantry over the mountains to Knoxville, but let's get the Cav Corps. Let's get Fremont over here to try to put eyes on what the heck's going on in the Upper Tennessee Valley. Let's move him up to about where this coal mine is. And then let's get the Army of the Tennessee back over near Nashville. Our gunboats along in here are doing a nice job of kind of keeping vision on where the Missouri State Guard and Polk's Command and the Army of the Oconee. I don't think those are being spotted by the Cav. Not these two, anyway. So, nice job, gunboats there. That's what I built you for. Aha! Now, how's this going to go? Really? We've got Siege Train and Limelights at play. We've got artillery. 3 brigades worth. No, 3 battalions worth of artillery. And it's still showing likely Confederate. Well, it's slightly on the Confederate end. We'll see how that progresses. Let's see if this has gotten any better down here. Kind of doubt it. Oh, it is edging a little bit more toward the Union side than it was last time we looked. That's good. It's gotten a little bit of XP toward siege perk. Not a good supply situation, though. Confederacy has gone with Cotton 3. Gonna be honest, I don't remember what we're working on for policies. Industry. Oh, 1 day left on Industry 2. Okay, so that'll be here momentarily. Of course, the biggest siege warfare going on the map is up here in Virginia. It looks like all those other Confederate corps have come up here. I took my eye off the ball. How is this going for us? Not great. Not great. And several of these Confederate forces do have siege-relevant perks. That's not helping. Casualties about equal at the moment. He's got more. There are 7 Confederate corps involved. And they've got almost 80,000 men. They do seem to have more broken units. That's just at the top of the... You know, there's a lot of them routing. Do we have a bunch of brigades routing? Or breaking? Doesn't look like it. Not Mac Corps. 9th Dragoons, broken. 10th Corps, 73rd, 1, 2, 3. Okay. It looks like we've got more brigades in better morale shape than they do. But that sure doesn't seem to be reflected down in this balance slider. Okay. So what I'm going to do... I've been kind of ignoring this, and I should not have. Not this long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... Wait a minute. I was about to say I'm about to move the 1st Corps into this siege and then fight a tactical battle here. But if every single Confederate force in the area is here, Richmond's wide open. We've got 14,000 cavalry just right up the road. We don't even have to send 1st Corps down there. Yeah. Cav. Clear shot to the capital. Meanwhile, and that means I'm still going to put 1st Corps right into this siege alongside the rest of the Army of the Potomac. And as soon as he arrives, I'm going to convert that into a tactical battle, and that should be a pretty large one, depending on the morale. And what the Confederates do is yet to be seen. They've got a lot of... They're clearly having more morale problems than we are in this siege, so I don't know what they're going to do at the start of that battle. But this battle, combined with capturing Richmond, that's pretty much going to be the death knell of the Confederacy right there. And I think that that is going to have to wait for the next episode. If you like what we're doing with the channel, if you like this content, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe. If you're new to the channel or the series and you haven't seen all the episodes and would like to catch other episodes, I'm going to link the playlist here. And I'm going to link something else that has absolutely nothing to do with this game or gaming or the Civil War at all. But this morning I went into a little YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, we all do it. And I ran across a video of a fantastic Led Zeppelin cover band. Yawn, I know. Led Zeppelin cover band. What else is new? These guys nail it. So I'm going to link one of their videos. Just take a quick watch. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. The singer's awesome. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.